We're, of course, tracking the latest situation in Pakistan, where Baluch and Sindh separatist groups, in fact, in Pak, have announced that they are forming an alliance aimed ostensibly at attacking Chinese interests in a development that is likely to increase security costs for the Belt and Road Initiative projects in Pakistan. A few days ago, remember, a consortium of 4 Baluch separatist organizations announced in a media release an alliance with the Sindhu Desh Revolutionary Army, or the SRA, a little-known separatist group operating in southeastern Sindh province. The group says that Sindh and Baluchistan are equally affected by the expansionist and oppressive resolves of China. The group also goes on to say that with the China-Pakistan economic corridor, China aims to subjugate Sindh and Baluchistan and occupy the coasts and resources from Badin to Gwadar ports. The CPEC consists of a variety of infrastructure projects under China's Belt and Road Initiative with financial help from Beijing. Pakistan and China both are known to have tensions with India and have been allies for decades. But there are very good reasons and telltale signs now that Pakistan is slowly but surely becoming nothing but a colony of China. Joining us, a special panel to debate this issue, we have Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee, former diplomat, live with us. Major General P.K. Sehgal, security analyst, joins us live. Rajiv Chuni, chairman of SOS International and of POK Displaced Refugees, also joining us live. Sumit Keer, political analyst, joins us live as well. Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, also with us live this evening. Ambassador Mukherjee, let me begin with you first. It seems more trouble is building up for Pakistan, which is in any case reeling under a failed economy and rising COVID cases.
Yes, so actually this debate is very timely, and I congratulate your channel for taking this up today. This was bound to happen because the Chinese activities in this part of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir was not popular with the local people at all. They had strong reservations, including about the behavior of the Chinese who were actually there in charge of the projects. And it's very clear that the local authorities are not supportive. And if they continue with their insurgent activities, as they said they have, this is going to come at a huge security cost to the Chinese on one hand, and the Chinese are aware that this project, if they don't succeed, they're going to lose a huge amount of face. So they will try to beef up the security. But if there are a series of terrorist attacks over there, as would seem likely, then a lot of those who are working there would refuse to go and work. So actually the entire project is in danger of getting derailed. And we have to watch and wait very carefully to see how things pan out, because this shows that all is not at all well there. And this is something that we have been saying for a while. So this vindicates actually what also in this channel we have discussed in the past, that all is not well at all. And it's going to get much worse in the future.
Absolutely. All is certainly not well in Pakistan. And it seems, of course, now that, the people, the dissidents within Pakistan, Rajiv Chuni, like yourself and others, other friends and families also, who you perhaps know are all rising. They're joining ranks and they're all rising. They're not going to take the situation lying down anytime anymore. And what we're also seeing, interestingly, is them join forces also with the Sindh Revolutionary Army as well.
देखें, जिस तरीके से बलोचिस्तान और गिलगित बाल्टिस्तान ने हाथ मिला लिया है,
जी,
मैं समझता हूं कि उनका कंसर्न जेन्युइन, क्योंकि वो पाकिस्तान को अपना देश नहीं मानते, और अगर उनका वो देश नहीं है तो पाकिस्तान उनके बिहाफ पर चाइना के साथ इतना बड़ा आर्थिक कॉरिडोर कैसे बना सकता। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आप काश्गर से चलकर जहां तक ये खत्म होता है ग्वादर तक, सबसे बड़ा हिस्सा जो है वो पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर का इसमें आता है। तो वहां के लोगों को कॉन्फिडेंस में लिए बिना, क्योंकि लैंड एक्विजिशन होनी है, लैंड एक्विजिशन किन लोगों की होनी है? जो वहां रहते हैं। मेरे बड़े सारे विस्थापित लोग हैं जो आज यहाँ पर रह रहे हैं हिंदुस्तान में। अभी डोमिसाइल का मामला चला जम्मू कश्मीर में, जब वो वहां अप्लाई कर रहे हैं और वहां लिख रहे हैं कि मैं गिलगित का हूं, मैं बाल्टिस्तान का हूं, लेकिन आज वो भी चिंता में है कि मेरी जमीन पर चाइना और पाकिस्तान ने कैसे समझौता कर लिया कि वहां से रेल मार्ग निकलेगा और सड़क मार्ग निकलेगा इतना लंबा, और हमसे पूछा नहीं जाएगा। मैं समझता हूं कि जब 2013 में इस प्रोजेक्ट को शुरू किया गया, उस समय की सरकार को इस पर अपना कड़ा ऐतराज करना चाहिए था, क्योंकि ये कोई छुपा हुआ मामला नहीं था, सारी दुनिया जानती थी कि इस तरीके से होने वाला है। तब $46 बिलियन का जो इनका एस्टीमेट था, ये 2017 में $62 बिलियन हो गया, 4.5 लाख करोड़ हमारे हिंदुस्तानी हिसाब से। आज वो 100 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा, मैं कहता हूं कि $100 बिलियन से भी ज्यादा उनका खर्चा आ रहा है। क्यों आ रहा है? क्योंकि वहां जो मिलिटेंट ग्रुप्स हैं वो उसका हिस्सा मांग रहे हैं, और वहां के जो लोकल लोग हैं वो अपनी जमीन देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। वो कहते हैं हमसे आप लैंड एक्विजिशन में जमीन मत लीजिए, हम नहीं देना चाहते, हमसे पूछा नहीं गया, आपने किस तरीके से ये फैसला कर लिया। मैं समझता हूं कि चाइना को पाकिस्तान को रोकना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसने हमारे सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स का ध्यान नहीं रखा, हमारी सेंसिटिविटी का ध्यान नहीं रखा, हमारे लीगल एस्पेक्ट्स का ध्यान नहीं रखा। जमीन मेरी है, मकान मेरा है, उस पर कोई दूसरा निर्माण करने जा रहा है, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। और मैं समझता हूं कि मैं इस चैनल का बहुत आभारी हूं, न्यूज एक्स का, कि हर बार जब भी कोई चर्चा चली है, पाकिस्तान ने जब भी कोई जम्मू कश्मीर के उन इलाकों को लेकर हरकत की है, आपने फौरन इस पर चर्चा कराई है और लोगों के अंदर एक ओपिनियन क्रिएट करने का काम किया। और सरकार
और राजीव, यही तो बात है कि अब बलूचिस्तान और गिलगित-बाल्टिस्तान पर मामला नहीं रह गया, अब और बढ़ गया है मामला, अब और बढ़ गया मामला, क्योंकि अब ये जो लोग हैं, अनेक प्रकार के लोग, अनेक एथनिसिटी के लोग, ये सब अब मिल गए हैं और इन्होंने सिंधु देश रेवोल्यूशनरी आर्मी के साथ भी अब हाथ मिला लिया है। तो मामला अब और बड़ा हो गया है।
बढ़ना चाहिए। हम तो यहाँ पर भी आंदोलन करेंगे, हमारे लोग यहाँ आंदोलन करेंगे कि इसको रोकना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये मेरा घर है, मेरा फैसला कोई दूसरा तीसरा देश नहीं कर सकता। और मैं कहता हूं कि भारत देश को भी पूरे ताकत के साथ, पूरे तरीके के साथ पूरी दुनिया के अंदर इस मामले को उठाना चाहिए कि आखिर पाकिस्तान ने और चाइना ने मिलकर एक ऐसे आर्थिक कॉरिडोर का कैसे निर्माण कर लिया जो भारत का हिस्सा है। हमसे पूछे बिना वो कैसे किया जा सकता है। और मैं समझता हूं कि जो ग्रुप्स इकट्ठे हुए हैं बिल्कुल अच्छा कर रहे हैं और भारत को पूरा साथ देना चाहिए, बिल्कुल खुलकर देना चाहिए।
Yes, and the fact very clearly is, Joyita, that everyone can see through who this corridor is going to benefit. The people on ground in Pakistan, the ordinary citizen on ground knows what the reality is, which is why they're teaming up like this report suggests.
Well, China behaves in a very, in a typical colonial manner. I mean, considering, you see, what it does is that, whatever resources, it's all about taking out resources from Pakistan and taking it back to China. It's all about employing its own people. So when it comes to the actual ground reality, to the ground people, they are not going to get anything out of this CPEC corridor. And you see, apart from that, as my previous panelist was mentioning, this whole Balochistan thing, this is something I don't understand why India, all these days, even for that matter, even now, why India is so quiet about, what Balochistan's aspirations are. Because when you look back into history, Balochistan is the province that had its actual separate parliament. It was that Kalat region of Balochistan. They had a separate parliament. They had a ruler of Kalat. You see, so for 8 months, they existed as an independent entity. And it was only in 1948 that Pakistan was able to, annex that place. And basically, through a sleight of hand, it did that. So the thing is this, and this is very surprising. Kashmir has been internationalized by Pakistan, has been made into such a big issue by Pakistan. And this is one issue our government, one government after another, they have repeatedly failed to make this an issue. This is a failure of our policy, I would say.
Okay, it's a failure of our policy, but obviously, this does show that China is fooling no one, at all, General Sehgal. China is fooling no one at all. We all know why the CPEC is being built. We all know what the ulterior motive of the BRI is, and that stands uncovered amongst the ordinary citizen in Pakistan who are rising, who are forming this consortium.
Very interestingly, right from day one, people of India and people of POK, Balochistan and Sindh are absolutely of the firm conviction that this will be the greatest disaster as far as Beijing is concerned. It's the most prestigious project as far as G10 is concerned. They invested a huge amount of money that people of Pakistan occupy Kashmir, Balochistan and Sindh, consider it highly predatory and exploitative. Benefits will accrue only to people of Punjab and to the people of China, as has been brought out by the other panelists also. Their resources are going to be taken away. They are not going to be given any compensation whatsoever. They're constructing dams in POK. People's villages will drown. People's lands are being taken away. Road will be constructed. Rail line will be constructed. Oil pipeline will be constructed. Gas line will be constructed. No compensation worthwhile is being given. Similarly, as far as Balochistan is concerned, they occupied a huge city called Gwadar. The locals have been pushed out of that area. There are no jobs given to locals. And it is now high time that they join hands with people in POK as well as Sindh and carry out strikes against them and make it cost prohibitive for them to continue with the project. The project will continue, but the benefits, as I said earlier, are not going to be for people of Sindh, Balochistan or POK. And it is absolutely essential that they increase the cost by an order of magnitude so as to ensure that the project is not viable. Even if the entire thing gets constructed, as per my perception, nothing whatsoever of significance will move along that border. Even if you recall, NATO forces, when they were passing through Pakistan, they were increasingly being attacked by terrorists within Pakistan. And Pakistan was extracting a huge price from Americans for providing security to them. Similarly, China ek qisam se phas gaya hai. There is no way out. And Pakistan will extract a huge amount of money for providing security to them. At this point of time, unfortunately, the Pakistani military dispensation, as against the civilian dispensation, which is now really part and parcel of the military dispensation, has virtually bartered away the interest of their country. And when I say their country, it is the interest of POK, Balochistan and Sindh in entirety to China. The government of India, particularly after the Prime Minister came into being, on the very first occasion when he spoke from Red Fort, he said, we are now going to extend moral support to people of Balochistan and POK. And I'm very sure, in addition to the moral support, we have started extending economic support and diplomatic support. A member of the UN Security Council.
Yeah.
We are going to be a member of the UN Security Council. We are going to take up this issue in a very significant and very major way. There are no holds barred as far as China is concerned. We got to hit China in every possible manner that we can.
You know, Sumit, the big question also is, what should India do about this? The people are rising. The people are upset. Mr. Chuni, who hails from one of those regions, says that he compliments us for having this program. But what should India do about it? What should our government do?
I join Mr. Chuni in complimenting you, because these kind of programs and people like you only bring it to the national forum, because a lot of people don't even know what is happening in this, because we are so busy with our common lives. So I compliment you for that. The point number one is, the utmost point is that this CPEC is illegal because it runs through POK. POK is our land. This land does not belong to Pakistan. How can they go enter a contract with China on the land which belongs to us? So immediately we should go to ICJ and contest it. That is the first thing we should do. Second thing is, we know what is happening. In fact, there are 4 groups have together. They're called BRAS now, BRAS. They have come together. Why? It's not economic. We all know the economical implications. We all know locals. We know Balochis, 62% of the land is with them. Minerals are with them. They're getting nothing. It's much beyond that. What they are really worried Uday, when they look at China, is the Xinjiang province, is this re-education institutions. They are seeing what is happening to minorities there, and they are seeing the Chinese model, wherein they say in Gwadar we'll have 10 million Chinese, 10 million Chinese in such a small place to be posted there. They are seeing the Chinese model, wherein the Chinese boys are getting married to the local girls. Incidentally, Uday, we have seen thousands of such cases. एक बार हिंदी में बोलना चाहूंगा, because I know your channel is widely watched in Pakistan. भाई पाकिस्तानी भाई लोगों, आप एक बात बताइए, आपकी लड़कियों की शादी तो हो रही है चीनियों से, पर चीनी किसी एक लड़की की शादी आपके यहाँ किसी के साथ होती नहीं देखी. So the bigger design is, China is trying to do ethnical cleansing, because in all these contracts, when you cannot pay them, which obviously Pakistan can never pay them, and you know what is the foreign exchange reserves, less than $10 billion, and 10 billion is their EMI of the loans they have taken. So what happens? Administrative control. Administrative control means these places will literally become the colonies of China. And what China has already started is re-education comes of Uyghurs. We know what they are doing, Uyghur Muslims. What they have started, a new Balochistan model, marrying the local Muslim girls are Chinese. So after 10 years, and imagine when you have 10 million or a million Chinese in a small state like Gwadar, and tomorrow when you have Chinese populating their population all across, there'll be no holds bar. There is PLA which should be protecting it. The ethnicity of Pakistan, the ethnicity of these Muslim Pakistan will no longer be there. After 10 years, we might be talking of Pakichinos. Sorry, they're not Cappuccinos. Pakachino means which is a hybrid between Pakistani and a Chinese. We will not be talking to the Chinese. And talking of the security aspects and the financial aspects of Uday, with these people joining hands, this has become a mini Afghanistan. Tell me a place in the world where with so much of insurgency, landmines, clashing, and RPGs going on, you can do business. Business cannot happen on the CPC.
That's the big issue. Ambassador Mukherjee.
It's a mini Afghanistan now.
Yes, Pakistan is becoming a mini Afghanistan now, and Ambassador Mukherjee, that's the point that should worry India, because Pakistan is our neighbor. We share a border with Pakistan. Obviously, an unstable Pakistan is not good for India, but that's what seems to be happening. I mean, the pictures speak for themselves. We're seeing these pictures of uprising on ground, protests on ground, insurgents, teaming up. This could spell doom for Pakistan, which is not a very good story for India, is it?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Sumit for what he said. I fully endorse what he said. First of all, as far as openly supporting the Baluchi cause is concerned, Uday, we have been circumspect because of the fact that we don't want the Pakistanis to say that this is an India-funded insurgency.
Indeed.
Which is why we would like this insurgency to gather momentum and actually be a threat to the Pakistani state, and we would give it all support, but we would not like the international community to buy the Pakistani story that all this is being funded and being pushed by India's raw, by Indian funding, etc. Secondly, you said that an unstable Pakistan is a danger to India's security. Many of us believe actually that a balkanized Pakistan is essential for India's security, that the breaking up of Pakistan into 4 units will actually ensure India's security. I am one of the people in the Indian Foreign Service who have systematically said, since I joined service in 1976, that a stable Pakistan is not good for us, that Pakistan broken up into 4 units is the only way that we can control our borders. We are not afraid of having a common border with Afghanistan. An undivided India had a border with Afghanistan. We will be able to manage a common border with Afghanistan much better than the Pakistanis have. So I wanted to make that point to say that therefore, if Pakistan is balkanized, it is in our interest. It should get balkanized by itself without Pakistan going and complaining to the UN Security Council that all this is being done by its nasty neighbor India. It should break up because of its own fault lines, which at some point will become too strong for the Pakistani ISI army to hold it. And at that point, there will be an implosion like you saw in Bangladesh, and it will break up. So that is something that we must actively promote without giving the impression that we are actually funding it or supporting it, because that is something which is not in our interest. And actually, it is not in the interest also of these insurgent movements who are doing it at very great risk of their own lives on their own. So we should actually be very careful about what we say in public on this.
Absolutely. Joyita, on how India should tackle this forward, what we should do ahead.
Well, the thing is, you see, there has always been talk when it comes to Balochistan, whether we should have some sort of a government in exile of Balochistan in India or not, the way we have something of, say, Tibet, government in exile we have. But then the problem, I think, is also because there's a lot of factionalism among the Baloch themselves, because they themselves are not united. So there is, one group has been trying to show down the other one. That this has been going on. And yes, I admit that I agree that, we have always been worried about, being shown as, we are creating trouble in Balochistan. But at the same time, we should not have in the past, if you look back what Manmohan Singh did at the Sharm el-Sheikh summit, where he allowed the mention of Balochistan and terrorism to creep into the joint statement. Thank God those times are over. But at the same time, it is time to be a little bolder and actually say that yes, these people have a cause, and even if we are not going to give active material support to it, at least vocal support. We should at least raise this matter in different international fora. That is what we can do, the least we can do. But then when it comes to China, we have always been very, very quiet. You know, we don't talk about Tibet. We don't even wish Dalai Lama on his birthday. We don't mention Hong Kong. We make a very oblique reference to Hong Kong at the UNSC. Sorry, I mean, at times we come across as basically we are chickening out of it at times, it seems like. And it's time to step up in that field a little bit more.
राइट राजीव चुनी, आप कह रहे थे कि चर्चा तो हमने शुरू कर ही ली है, मगर अब आगे का रास्ता क्या है? अब अगला कदम क्या रहेगा? आगे क्या होने वाला है पाकिस्तान में? अब क्योंकि ये अलग अलग फौजों ने हाथ मिला लिए हैं, अलग अलग इंसर्जेंट ग्रुप साथ आ गए हैं, आगे का रास्ता क्या है? आगे क्या होगा? और भारत सरकार से आपकी क्या उम्मीद?
देखें, सबसे पहले तो मैं ये कहूंगा कि जो दानवीर का एक हमने लबादा ओढ़ रखा है उसको छोड़ना पड़ेगा। हमारे जम्मू कश्मीर में धारा 370 और 35 से हटाने के बाद भी हमने क्या किया, वैक्यू प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट, जो लोग जम्मू कश्मीर से पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर में चले गए, अपनी प्रॉपर्टी यहां छोड़ गए, उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए हमने वैक्यू प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट बनाया था, जो हमने धारा 370 और 35 से हटाने के बाद भी कायम रखा। और आज अगर वहां पर कोई सड़क बनाई जाती है उसकी जमीन में, या कोई रेल मार्ग बनाया जाता है, हम बकायदा तौर पर मार्केट रेट पर, जो सरकारी रेट है, उसके पैसे उस आदमी के खाते में जमा कराते हैं जो वो यहाँ जमीन छोड़ गया है। लेकिन मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, जो मेरी जमीनें पार पड़ी हैं, मैं पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर से आया, मेरा परिवार है, मेरे हजारों लाखों परिवार वहां से आए हैं। आज अगर आप वहां कुछ कर रहे हैं तो आपने कभी हमसे पूछा आप हैं कौन है, मुझे बताइए। ये मेरा प्लाट है और मेरे प्लाट पर आप देखें कि किस तरीके से लोग जो हैं वो ट्रेसपासर्स अंदर आकर उस पर वो अपना वो एग्रीमेंट कर रहे हैं और उस पर अपना वो सारा खेल खेल रहे हैं। तो मैं समझता हूं कि हमारे देश को अब सामने आना होगा। ठीक कहा मेरे एक साथी पैनलिस्ट ने, खासतौर पर सुमित जी ने, कि हमें इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट ऑफ जस्टिस में जाना चाहिए फौरन और इसको रुकवाना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये जो एग्रीमेंट है, ये जो कॉरिडोर है, मैं समझता हूं ये बिल्कुल इलीगल है, ये किसी भी जगह ठहरेगा नहीं और इसको रोक दिया जाएगा। और वैसे भी कोविड-19 की वजह से और पाकिस्तान के हालात की वजह से, वहां पर मिलिटेंसी की वजह से, और जो ग्रुप आज इकट्ठे हो गए हैं सिंध में और बलूचिस्तान में, मैं समझता हूं कि चाइना का सपना कभी पूरा होने वाला नहीं है और चाइना इसी जगह पर बर्बाद होगा। ये मेरी आज भविष्यवाणी है, मैं आपको बता दूं। लेकिन मैं इतना जरूर कहूंगा,
समय की पाबंदी है, तो मैं आपको रोकूंगा। We have to take a very quick break. My thanks to all of you for joining us. Much more on the other side.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.